The family of the British couple being held in Iran on espionage charges say they were left in the dark about their loved ones' whereabouts for a month. After weeks of silence, they heard just yesterday that they're still alive. Lindsay and Craig Foreman were arrested in January and charged with espionage by the Iranian authorities. They were travelling through the country on what they described as a trip of a lifetime. Their end destination during a motorcycle journey was supposed to be Australia. In early January, the couple were travelling across Iran from Armenia to Pakistan when they were stopped and detained. They were in the city of Kerman on January the 3rd and accused of entering Iran under the guise of tourists to gather information. After months of being held in a tiny 3-by-3 metre cell, the Foreign Office had been told on June the 8th that they were going to be moved to the capital Tehran to the infamous Evin prison. But then this happened. Evin prison in a cloud of smoke after it was struck by Israeli missiles during the short but deadly conflict with Iran. The prison was completely destroyed, and still no word as to whether Lindsay and Craig Foreman were there, trapped under the rubble or not. And there was still no news until yesterday when they received confirmation that the couple's transfer never happened. They're still alive, still in Kerman. My colleague Sally Bundock has been speaking with Lindsay's son, Joe Bennett, who was telling her how the family would like to know more about the Foreign Office's strategy to get them out.
It's been a while, and yeah, initial reactions, relief, right? That's the main thing, is that they are alive. We've heard that through the sort of Iranian officials, so yet to get eyes on, but you know, it's massive relief, and it leads to the bigger picture, which is, you know, we want them home, and we want them home urgently. So yeah, massive relief, but still a long way to go.
And in terms of the help and the support you've received so far, since you heard news of them being detained, we approached the Foreign Office to hear what they had to say about this, and this was their statement. We continue to raise this case directly with the Iranian authorities. We're providing them with consular assistance, that's your mum and Craig, and we remain in close contact with the family members. Would you say that's the case from your perspective?
In close contact, yeah. You know, the strategy and the plan of what they're planning to do to get them out, we're left in the dark a little bit, and that's what's worrying for us. We want to be in the loop as to what's going on. As I say, they've been great in support and offering words, but it's time for action.
In terms of contact with your mum and with Craig, it's been very little from your perspective, hasn't it? I mean, they've had just 3 visits, haven't they? 3
consular visits, no direct contact with the family. There was a generic letter shared from her mum. I know it's her handwriting, but yeah, no direct contact for over 6 months now, and that's tough. You know, when you're used to hearing someone's voice every day.
And one of those consular visits was very short, I heard, something like 9 minutes, and you heard your mum wasn't looking well at that one.
Yeah, that was a tough one. You know, it was a very short visit. As I say, it was 9 minutes. It was rushed. It was 24 hours after how it was supposed to happen, and that was the one where concerns were raised about my mum's living conditions. She was mentioning wafer-thin mattresses, so tough to hear, but yeah.
And in terms of their conditions and what you know about how things have been for them, initially they were separated, weren't they? And they weren't with anyone who spoke any English. That must have been extremely hard in the beginning. I would imagine initially so much fear, especially prior to knowing why they were being held, what might happen next.
Absolutely. I think you know the state that they must be in is something that really upsets me, how they must be feeling over there. It was over 30 days solitary confinement to begin with, which is tough. You know, that was tough to hear. And then, yeah, it's being with people that don't speak English. I mean, my mum being my mum, she made connections, as did Craig. I can't imagine how those conversations went, but you know, it gives a little bit of solace.
But together, they're together now. We understand, don't we? In a very small cell, but they've sort of got their own routine and exercise regime, haven't they, to sort of keep themselves strong. What are you hearing about what they're trying to do?
So in their cell, they're trying to keep as fit as possible. They were always active people, loved the park run, and in true fashion, they're now running figure of eights in their cell.
So they're doing a park run, 5 kilometres.
5 kilometres in a figure of eight in the conditions that they're in, which is just sort of shows their mental fortitude, right?
Now, the trip, tell us about the trip. It was from Europe all the way to Australia on motorcycles. What was it about? Why were they doing that?
So it was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. It's something they planned for a long, long time. You know, they'd recently got into bikes, and there's a conference in Australia that my mum was attending. So the idea is to visit some of the most remote, beautiful places of the world and travel together. That's what they love to do. Meeting people along the way, that's what it's all about for them. Connections, new conversations, meeting people from different backgrounds.
And that was Joe Bennett speaking to my colleague Sally Bandock there.